Today we will discuss how to make a good trellis for grapes. A trellis is a flat support for grapes. It has already grown a bit. You can see that it has turned green. I wanted to make a trellis earlier, but I didn't have the time. So let's start now before it's too late, before it grows too much. Here I've already made one trellis. You can see that it is indeed about 2 meters tall. At the top, a long pipe, 4 meters in length, is welded, and there are 2 posts that are embedded in the ground, driven to a depth of 70 centimeters. You can go deeper or shorter, depending on your soil. What will we need? We have grapes here, actually, which grow supported by ordinary sticks. So to secure it, we need 2 pipes. Here they are, 2 meters and 50 centimeters long. 50 centimeters will be embedded in the ground. And a central pipe is needed. Here it is. 3 meters long. Our total length will be 3 meters. Then, when we install this trellis at a distance of 50 centimeters from the ground and 50 centimeters apart, we drill holes and, using an ordinary old television cable, tie it into these holes, threading the cable through. This will serve as support for the grape's growth, depending on its further development. Let's get started. So we take a level. This is a regular construction. I use it for laying tiles and other tasks. If a strict vertical is needed, a large hammer, a sledgehammer, is required to drive the pipe into the ground. And a regular, ordinary tape measure is needed to measure the distance to the ground, from the edge of the pipe to the ground. Let's get to work. We take the sledgehammer. A regular plumb line is used to pour check, ensuring utmost accuracy and precision with a focus on achieving the highest standards possible. And we start driving the pipe with meticulous care and attention to every detail, ensuring everything is perfectly aligned, secure, and stable, and maintaining a consistent level of quality throughout the process. When the pipe is slightly in, it's hammered in. It is necessary to check its vertical position. I find it here. Run it along one side and the other side. This way, we determined our vertical. We continue to hammer in the pipe. Now, after the pipe is hammered in, it is necessary to check the distance from the ground with a tape measure, and from here to the right. Here we have exactly 2 meters. We check its position with the level once more. It is clear that it stands strictly vertical. Now, we move on to the other post in the same way. To determine the location of the second post, it is necessary to take the pipe that will be welded at the top and place it on the base of the first post using the level. Determine the location of the second post. Here it will be strictly in the center of the merchant. A little please. We deepen the ground, leaving the bottom. We take the trowel. Level. We climb the ladder. We prepare. because without the ladder, it is very difficult to put on the upper edge. Measuring vertically, we proceed to drive the second pipe into the post of our trellis. And here we checked the position vertically. The technique is meticulously followed to ensure precision and accuracy in the process. Now, we carefully and steadily drive it in completely, ensuring it is secure and stable. Using a reliable and accurate tape measure, we check the depth thoroughly and precisely. This ensures the bollard post is installed at the correct depth for optimal performance and safety. There. The distance now matches what is needed. After the two posts are driven in, we will need a regular wire, which we will use to tack the top post and weld it with a welding machine. Firstly, we need to carefully and precisely take two pieces of binding wire and, using appropriate tools, lift the pipe onto the posts and temporarily secure the wire with precision and securely to the top side post, ensuring it is stable before proceeding to the next step. This is to ensure the post with the pipes doesn't fall safely and securely. After we weld the pipe, we will then remove the wire. Now we do this with the holes. You may need to ensure that it is secured. Once our temporary fixation is ready, we currently retrieve the welding machine. In our case, it's an inverter. And we proceed to weld the upper part of the posts. After the posts are welded to the top of the bollard, it is necessary to make holes in the posts at a distance of 50 millimeters from each other. For this, we place 50 millimeters from the ground. Then at intervals of 50 millimeters between these holes are needed in order to secure the horizontal fastening. Here they are already ready on the posts. This is necessary so that as the grapevine grows, at each stage of its growth, it can be tied to wire ropes. You can use either an old television, cable, or any wire that is at hand, whatever is available.
Then take a drill. Depending on the diameter of the wire we want to remove, we proceed to the first line. Fastening for the vine. I use thick wire with a diameter of 5 mm. It is rigid, resilient, so it will last a long time. So the hole is drilled. Now it's necessary to measure the length. It's necessary for fastening. Then insert one end here only and add about 5 centimeters for the shooter in the wire. We make the lighting. All the excess is untied using a grinder. Since the wire is rigid and doesn't bite in pieces. The shelf is cut off. We introduce the second drill. And using regular pliers, we are making a bend. With a wire circle, and therefore it is difficult to handle with pliers. Although, well, it's unnecessary. We do the same on the other side. It is preferable that the wire does not sag, because later on there might still be some small changes in the metal. As it heats up, it can expand a little and contract in winter, so it is essential that it is like a string. You watched a video about how I make supports for grapes for fastening. I also have an arch in my yard, but that's a completely different story. Here are the supports of this kind. I already have them ready. The supports are done. The grapevine is gradually spreading. On the other side, I also have 2 more supports. A very useful thing for grapes. I remind you that it's preferable to position them north-south, as this will improve the lighting of the grape bushes. That's why it worked out for me this way.